At England v Ireland this weekend at Twickenham. Doesn't get much bigger, does it?
It's iconic, isn't it? It's one of the great games of world rugby. You know, the history of two countries, and you come together in a sporting event, and it just brings everything together. You know, Twickenham's an iconic place, wonderful place to go, really tough place to go. England have been on the road for 9 games, which is a huge amount of games in a row to not have a home game. So home game. Really looking forward to getting it home, and it's such a hard game to predict because we know both teams have got quality in them, but that quality hasn't come out to the top level that we know it can on either side. So it's a really exciting, unpredictable game.
One late change for Ireland. Devin Toner comes in for Ian Henderson. How do you think that'll affect the side?
Look, I would have had Dev there from the first place, and I would have put Ian back on the bench. I just think our maul is so much stronger when you have Dev there. I think the weight he brings into the scrum and winning primary possession against England and attacking their primary possession is key. I'm really happy with that Dev's there. I think I'm very sorry for Ian. I believe it's personal circumstances and it's not something that anyone wants. But as far as the rugby goes, we're weak in not having Ian in the side, but I think Dev starting will bring a lot of positives to the Irish play.
In the last 2 fixtures against England, Ireland have conceded 89 points. Psychologically, how big an effect is that?
A lot. You know, they've played poorly, but more to the point, England have figured them out. That England selection is sending a message to Ireland as well. We're going to do the same thing. Tuilagi back in the centres, coming at you. Huge set of forwards, you know, locks everywhere. Someone said it's like Eddie's bought a house with in a bad area. He just can't buy enough locks. You know, why would you want 5 locks? He's just got big men running at Ireland, and that's going to be the premise. And Ireland are not going to get the same time to get the passes and that attack going that they did against Wales last week or the last fixture. So it's going to be a really tough day for Ireland. Now, they've improved a lot in that Wales game. There's no two ways about that, and they've played some real quality rugby. The question's going to be, can they improve again? Because a performance of the same standard that they put out against Wales won't be enough at Twickenham against a very, very big, hard-running English side.
You mentioned Manu Tuilagi. He's a real X-factor player, isn't he?
He is. And it's the straightness of his play and the power that he brings that's Ireland have felt really threatened by, and to be honest, have struggled to contain. He comes back on a beautiful line where he takes you out, then comes back at your inside shoulder. And when you've got such a big, powerful dude doing that, you haven't got any power in that inside shoulder tackle. Needs 2 men to get onto him, and even then, when you get him, he's still bending the line and making that gain line. And with Farrell, who's been out of form, it has to be said, but with Ford and Farrell inside him, it will give him some space. The 2 wingers, even though Joseph's been moved to the wing, but Daly and May have been in really scintillating form. The tries Johnny May scored were just glorious, and they will trail May or Joseph, who's now on the wing, inside Tuilagi. So he'll have an option outside, but he'll have that trailer inside as well. And that's to try and stop the 2-man tackle on him. And it's a highly effective tactic. He's a real handful. And again, we've got Robbie Henshaw, who played so well last week, but he hasn't had a lot of time at 13. So it's a lot of responsibility is going to hang on Robbie's shoulders there. He's a quality player, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't had the time there of someone like Gary Ringrose.
If Ireland are to win on Sunday, what's the biggest thing that you feel they have to get right?
I think there's a couple of points to that, Stu. It sounds really trite, but they've got to take their points when they're on offer. So they've got to take their threes, but when they get in the 22, like they did against Wales in the first half, 5 or 6 times and came away with nothing. If they can't do that away from home against Wales, you won't be given 6 or 7 opportunities to score. If we think back to St Patrick's Day 2018, that first half display that Ireland put in, they had 3 opportunities to score and they took all 3, and they won the game. In the best 40 minutes I've ever seen an Irish team play, it has to be said. So when that opportunity arises for Ireland, they've got to do it and got to take those points. They can't go to that well and not drink. They've got to get points in the 22 every time they come in. Second part of that is against England, your set play is paramount. You have to have your set play absolutely spot on, because that's what England really come at you with. They like set plays. They like the pitch battle. And the second part of that is I think Ireland have to attack England down the short side. If you just take on that big line of those big men coming up hard, you're going to have a tough day at the office. If you, in the structure Ireland have, they can get to the middle of the field or 20 metres in, then come back at them on the short side, either by running or a kicking game, and that'll bring Llama's running into play. I think they can really trouble England. But I don't think any of us should be under any illusion. It's a very, very big mountain that Ireland are trying to climb.
Do you think Ireland have shown enough in attack against Scotland and Wales to go and test England and win the game?
Wonderful question. I'm not sure, and I think that's the beauty of this game. The attack they showed against Wales was without doubt the best I've seen Ireland attack in a long, long time. And Mike Catt and the players are to be congratulated on that. But I think Wales are showing the signs of not having Sean Edwards. They didn't really rush up and put a lot of pressure on our runners in our outside channels, which I think England will do. So against Wales, we're getting 2 and 3 passes in, sometimes 4 passes. I just don't believe England are going to give Ireland that amount of time. So the question that we don't know is, will the Irish attack with that pressure that England are putting on that they didn't have against Scotland and they didn't have against Wales? When that extra pressure comes on, can they still get their attack to function? That's the $64,000 question. We just don't know. If they do, they can win the game. If they don't, England will win the game. It's almost as simple as that. It's a highly complex and highly pressurised situation, but points up against England because they're going to score points. Even we saw against France, when they were completely dysfunctional away from home, bad weather, they still got some tries in. Individuals they were, individualistic that is, tries, but the brilliance in that side, they will get individual tries. If they can get some team tries as well, you're in a bit of trouble. So it's again, we can't, everyone at home, we can't give you that 100% guarantee, but that's what makes it dramatic. That's what's going to make it really exciting to watch. Either team can win, and it's going to be who turns up on the day, who's brilliant on the day, and can bring their game together in that 80 minutes. That'll come up with a fixture, because they're very even sides.
And finally, if they do beat England, do you think this Ireland team can go on and win a Grand Slam?
If you had said that to me before the Scotland game, I would have said no. But it's just been such an unusual championship that way. Like at the end of this weekend, we could have 2 teams who could win a Grand Slam, France and Ireland, 1 team, either of those, or 4 teams that can win a championship and no Grand Slam. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Ireland win and they can be going to Paris in the last weekend for a Grand Slam. It's certainly not that. Even if they lose, they'll be going to Paris for a championship because they'll beat Italy. So they're in, even without that result, they're in a better place than we all probably thought they were going to be at the beginning of the championship. And if we think back to when we won the Grand Slam 2018, the first game against France was Johnny Sexton's drop kick. Now, it wasn't Johnny Sexton's drop kick, it was Stuart Hogg's drop ball that saved us. But if you win that first game, you're in it. And Ireland are in this up to their teeth, and they're capable of winning. It'll be tough, and they're not favourites, they're underdogs, but they're capable.